Shalom, shalom. I hope you all are doing well. I'm blessed and I'm back again with a quick video. There's going to be a coming wilderness. Just like the days after Egypt, when our forefathers were led out by the mighty hand of Yahuwah, not into comfort, but into the desert, into isolation, into testing, that same pattern is about to repeat. This will be a place outside the cities and outside of the systems, where the Most High will gather his people by force, not for comfort, but for correction. Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 33 reads, "As I live, said Yahuwah Elohim, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you." Just like the Most High brought our ancestors out of Egypt with a mighty hand, he's going to do the same thing for us. He's going to bring us into the desert again, to deal with us face to face, to purge the rebels and to prove his faithfulness. No more playing, Israel. No more hiding behind fringes and names. In that wilderness, only obedience will matter. Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 34 reads, "And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out." The Most High says that he will bring us out from among the nations where he has scattered us, with power, with a strong hand, and with his anger poured out. He's coming to gather his people. This is a promise of deliverance and restoration. When Yahuwah brought our ancestors out of Egypt, he did it with power, plagues, and judgment, and he said that he would do it again, but this time with fury poured out. This means that there's going to be a coming of judgment through our deliverance. Are you able to discern the signs of the times? Look around. We're in the middle of global tribulation. Earthquakes shaking cities, floods swallowing whole towns, wildfires raging uncontrollably, blood moons and solar eclipses, signs in the heavens, economic collapse, food shortages, pestilence, death sweeping the streets, wars and rumors of wars, governments falling, the rise of lawlessness and confusion, mental illness, and many more terrible calamities. Can you see that darkness is covering this earth? The world is unraveling because the time is near. But this is only the beginning. When Yahuwah gathers us from the nations, he will lead us into the wilderness just like he did our ancestors. Ezekiel chapter 20 verses 35 through 36 reads, "And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there I will plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, said Yahuwah Elohim." After Yahuwah pours his fury out on the nations, after the shaking and judgment, after the mighty hand of Yahuwah gathers his people from every land, we will not go straight into the land of promise. First, he will bring us into the wilderness. As I mentioned previously, it's going to be a place away from the cities, the systems, and distractions. A place where there's nothing left but him and us. And there Yah will plead with us, not begging, but confronting, calling, correcting, and restoring. This is where Yahuwah is going to speak the truth to us face to face, like he did in the days of old. In that wilderness, every false idol will be exposed. Every hidden rebellion will be brought to the light. He will test our hearts. He will separate the obedient from the rebellious, the humble from the proud, and the wheat from the tares. This is the purging process, and some will not make it through. Not everyone who is gathered will enter into the promised land. Just like in the days of Moses, the disobedient will fall in the wilderness. But those who yield, those who repent, those who choose the covenant over comfort, they will be refined like gold. Ezekiel chapter 20 verses 37 through 38 reads, And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant. And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. In that wilderness we will be cleansed, we will be made ready, and from there Yah will lead his remnant home. What we must understand is that just because Yahuwah is going to gather Israel from the four corners of the earth, everyone will not make it into the promised land. Not everyone who makes it to the wilderness will enter the land. The wilderness is not just a place of safety, it's a place for testing, a place of separation, a place where the true remnant is revealed. You see, just like our ancient ancestors, many Israelites are going to be trying to hold on to spiritual Egypt, to spiritual Babylon, and to spiritual Sodom and Gomorrah. Some will refuse to let go of pride, idolatry, and rebellion, and they will fall in the desert. But the humble, the obedient, the ones who choose Yahuwah over everything, they will be refined like gold. And from that wilderness, Yah will raise up a purified people, ready to inherit the land and walk in the covenant forever. Let's go back a little bit and talk about why this wilderness will be a place of safety for the Israelites. Did y'all know that we're going to be set apart from the chaos and destruction that will be hitting the other nations? And we can find this in Revelations chapter 12 and 6, where the woman here represents Israel, Yah's people, and the wilderness is the place prepared by Yah, a place of safety and provision during the time that he's destroying the wicked heathens. This is also our place of protection and safety from the dragon, Hashatan, in the end times. So let's go ahead and read it. Revelations 12 and 6, it says, "And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her there 1,260 days." So then when we look at Revelations chapter 12 and verse 14, it talks about how, like I was telling you, the wilderness is going to be a place of safety and protection from Hashatan. So it reads, "And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent." Let's go ahead and get a few more verses. This is Hosea chapter 2, verses 14 through 15. It says, "Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her her vineyards from thence, and the valley of Acre for a door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt." Let's also take a look at Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 20. It reads, "Come, my people, enter thou into the chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast." You see, the Israelites, we're going to have to go into a safe chamber, because Yah is going to shake this world up. The economies will collapse, the governments will fall, and plagues will increase. War will escalate, and judgment will rain down. But the wilderness is outside of the system. It's off-grid and out of Babylon's reach. It will be like Goshen in the days of Egypt. While Egypt was drowning in darkness, the light still shined in Goshen. While death swept over the firstborn, those under the blood covering were spared. In the same way, Yah will set apart his people again, not in man-made shelters, but a divinely prepared place. The wilderness will be a shield and a refuge, not because of what it is, but because of who is with us. Let's look at Psalms chapter 91 and 1. It says, "He that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." He that dwell in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. We will no longer be under government control or subject to the wicked mark of mandates. No more manipulation by the beast system. Yah will provide food like he gave manna. He will provide water like he brought it from the rock. And he will guide us by fire and cloud again. But it will also be a place of testing. The wilderness will test our obedience, test our trust, and test our hearts. Because the wilderness won't be just a place of shelter. It's going to be a place of separation. The rebellious will not make it through. Only the faithful, set apart, and obedient will be preserved. So while the nations fall, while Babylon burns, and while the proud are brought low, Yah's remnant will be hidden, fed, protected, and purified, all in preparation for the inheritance to come. I want to look back and revisit Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 36 because the Christians aren't taught this. Neither are the other nations in their religions. If the Most High is saying that he's going to regather the children of Israel from the four corners of the earth where these hidden ones have been scattered, then surely we must still exist, right? We're not an ancient people who no longer exist. This is why I always tell you that the Bible isn't written in a way that everyone can understand, because some will read this verse and still not understand that this happened before and will happen again, this Exodus. When we look at Ezekiel chapter 20 and 36, it says, "Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, said Yahuwah Elohim." Like as I pleaded with your fathers is past tense. It's a past event that happened before. And then it says, "So will I plead with you." This is a future event still to come. So in this future prophecy, the Most High is going to gather his people, the nation of Israel, from among the heathens, the other nations, the lands where we have been scattered into captivity. And he's going to bring us into a separate place and purge us, refine us, and restore us. And he's doing this to judge us, to reason with us, and to bring us into alignment. He did this before with miracles, commandments, and correction. And he's going to do it again because he keeps his covenant. And the remnant must be made ready for the coming kingdom. Before I go, I know some of you may be wondering what's going to happen to the Gentiles who cleave to Jacob. Well, Isaiah 14 and 1 says, "For Yahuwah will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Yaakov." So strangers mean Gentiles. And Gentile means anyone who's not an Israelite by DNA. So the other nations. So the Most High Yah will restore Israel and the Gentiles who truly submit. They will be part of that restoration. Let's take a look at some more verses about this. Isaiah 56 verses 6 through 7 says, "Also the sons of the stranger that join themselves to Yahuwah to serve him, and to love the name of Yahuwah, to be his servants, every one that keep the Sabbath from polluting it, and take hold of my covenant. Even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifices shall be accepted upon mine altar, for mine house shall be called an house of prayer for all people." So the strangers, foreigners, Gentiles, non-Israelites who join themselves to him, to Yahuwah, will be accepted. but they must keep the Sabbath. They must love his name and not defile his covenant. Now, it's important that all of you Gentiles understand that this is not a universal salvation for all Gentiles. This is a conditional invitation for those who cleave in obedience and truth. I hope that all of you Israelites who teach the false doctrine that the Gentiles will not take part in the covenant, I hope you're learning something if you're watching this, because these verses are telling us that the Most High is offering salvation to those who cleave in truth and obedience. Let's take a look at Zechariah chapter 8 and verse 23, because I want you Gentiles to start trickling on in here if in fact you are going to be obedient in truth. If you're going to cleave to the house of Jacob, keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, and walk in righteousness into the wilderness with the children of Israel. Zechariah 8 and 23 says, "Thus said Yahuwah of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is Yehuda, saying, We will go with you, for we have heard that Elohim is with you." You see that, family? The Gentiles are going to recognize that Yah is with Israel, and so they're going to ask if they can follow us. Not lead, follow us. This is the way Yah's order is. It's Israel first, then those who attach in humility. But the Gentiles who refuse to cleave, submit, or walk righteously, especially those who oppressed Israel or refused to honor Yahuwah's order, they're going to suffer the judgment of Yahuwah's indignation. I want to revisit Isaiah chapter 26 and 20, but this time we're going to add verse 21 to it. It says, "Come, my people, enter thou into the chambers, and shut thy doors about thee, hide thyself, as if it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpast. For behold, Yahuwah come out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain." So yes, the Most High's judgment is going to hit Babylon. And Babylon is pretty much just a system of things, and all the nations connected to her. And the Gentiles within this system, who are not cleaving to Yah or to Jacob, will be consumed by that judgment. Let's take a look at Isaiah chapter 13 verses 9 through 11, and it reads, "Behold, the day of Yahuwah come, cruel both wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light, the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible." This is those Gentiles within the Babylonian system who are not cleaving to Yahuwah and the house of Jacob. They're going to be consumed by Yahuwah's judgment. Can you all see that this is a clear picture of Yahuwah's global judgment? What the Bible calls the day of Yahuwah, or Yahuwah's indignation. So while the Israelites and the Gentiles who cleave to Yaakov, while we're in the wilderness, Yahuwah is going to punish the world for their evil. This is a worldwide punishment for universal rebellion, idolatry, oppression, injustice, child sacrifice, pride, and every violation of the law. And this judgment is going to be for anyone who's walking in lawlessness, regardless of what they claim to believe. Iniquity equals deliberate, habitual sin. This includes rebellious Israel too. This is a judgment for how people lived. And the Most High is targeting those in high places, rulers, celebrities, corrupt pastors, false prophets, and nations that exalt themselves. Pride is what caused Satan to fall and what fuels Babylon today. And Yah says, I'm ending it, period. At the end of verse 11, Yahuwah says that he will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Terrible here means those who have used fear, violence, or control to dominate others. So the colonizers, slave masters, religious deceivers, and global elites. Yah is going to crush their power, remove their influence, and leave them in shame and ruins. In other words, he's not going to allow wickedness and pride to rule the earth anymore. His kingdom is coming in righteousness, but before that, everything lifted in rebellion must be brought low. Let's look at one more verse before I say shalom. Malachi 4:1, it reads, For behold, the day come that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. And the day that come shall burn them up, said Yahuwah of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. In closing, I would like to inform you of something. Many of you think that judgment is a future prophecy, but I want you to know that Yah is currently judging this world for its wickedness. And while his judgment continues to intensify, there will come a time where he will remove his people Israel and the righteous Gentiles before the total destruction comes. He will gather Israel and lead them into the wilderness once again. And the Gentiles who cleave to Israel and walk in righteousness will join them. In this time of purification, Yah's mercy will shield his faithful as he prepares them for the restoration of his kingdom on earth. Let us be ready, walking in righteousness, for the day of his return is near. Thank you all for listening, and thank you all who support this journey and ministry. Your encouragement and prayers are deeply appreciated. May Yahuwah bless you, all who are deserving. And remember Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. He that endures unto the end shall be saved. And until my next video, shalom.